by saying the Detroit Pistons could have had SGA and the sixth pick. But let's just get something straight. I don't believe this. Well, for Cade Cunningham, but this trade wasn't real. I remember hearing about this, but it wasn't a real trade. There's no way Oklahoma City offers SGA in the sixth pick for Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, Sam Presti even kind of debunked it. He's like, no, we didn't offer that. People have such recency bias.
Yes.
And it's insane. When Cade was playing, even though he was injured, he was still putting up close to 20 points a game. It just baffles my mind. Some of the tweets that I get that we need to trade Cade. Cade's not a good player. Cade's a bust. It's insane that people actually have the nerve to not only tweet that, but actually hit send. It's insane, man. You want to trade number one overall pick that is your best player because you think he's a bust because he's out for the season with a tibia stress fracture. I don't get that thought process with Pistons fans. They're just miserable right now.
Let's say the trade was real, though. Let's say that Sam Presti did call Troy Weaver up. He said, hey, friend, you just became a GM. I want to help you out. You give me the first pick, which will be Cade. I'll give you SJ in the sixth pick. Would it have been a mistake if Troy Weaver did hang up the phone and not accept that trade?
Kind of depends where you see the franchise going. If that trade, let's just say hypothetically, we could play devil's advocate. Let's say it was real. I'd be tempted to take it, but I'm still happy with Cade Cunningham because I think a lot of people are comparing SGA stats this year to Cade's rookie stats, which I think is incredibly unfair. I think let Cade play, 5 years into the league, and then you can kind of stack their stats next to each other and see Cade Cunningham and SGA are basically similar players. I think it's an unfair conversation. I don't know. Like I said, Cade's out. People are bored. They're just tweeting or, whatever they're doing on social media with these crazy ass takes, man. You've seen me go back and forth with some fans, man, quote tweet. I'm some of the stuff that I've been getting, man, it's insane. There's no way. People just have to be trolling.
So basically the backcourt, I agree with you. I think they do have to be trolling. I think Anthony Wright was trolling with this. He was just trying to stir the pot too as well. And that's basically what my argument was to him, or what I had said to him, why are we comparing SGA year 5 to Cade year 2, which was 18 games? Why are we doing that? We should wait till Cade hits year 5 and then we can compare them. It's too early to do that. But also, yeah, I mean, basically the backcourt in Detroit would be SGA and Josh Giddey, because that's who went 6th to Oklahoma City. I'll just assume that's the same move Troy Weaver made, was just getting those two. So Josh Giddey and SGA in the backcourt. No Jaden Ivey then in Detroit. Someone else is drafted right there. Then who even knows what happens with Duren. I like the way the Pistons have gone. I love having Cade Cunningham, even though he's hurt right now. I love Jaden Ivey. I mean, he's been looking phenomenal at playing the 1 recently. But anyways, let's talk about this because this was brought up when I had retweeted it. His name is Jasper. I apologize. I do not remember his handle on Twitter. I want to say it's Blade Cunningham or something. But he had basically said what would Cade Cunningham's production have to be for you to turn away that offer? Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but that's how I read it. So what would Cade Cunningham's, because again, I think they're looking at it yes, SGA's averaging 35 and 5 this year. I don't think he does that again next year. That's not a slight on him. It's just there's going to be a huge improvement from his teammates. Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren's coming back. Lou Dort, he hasn't been healthy this year. All those dudes are going to take a step next year. So I think that's going to hurt him. So SGA averaging a 35-5, I don't think it's going to happen. But what would Cade Cunningham's production have to be for you not to want SGA and Josh Giddey, I guess?
I know, like I said, we're just playing hypotheticals. I honestly, I would still draft Cade Cunningham even if that trade was on the table.
Yeah.
Just because he was the best prospect coming out of that draft class. He was getting comped to guys like Luka Doncic, LeBron James, even Grant Hill to an extent. I don't really look at it as a production standpoint. If you want to use that argument, I can understand it. If you want to say, well, he's averaging 30, I would need Cade to average 20. I think Cade could average. He was basically averaging 20 this year. I mean, during his rookie year last year in March, he was averaging 23, 7, and 7 as a rookie. I would much rather have Cade Cunningham on my team than SGA, and that might sound like a homer take, but I just believe in Cade Cunningham as a two-way forward, and I think you don't really see a whole lot of point forwards in the NBA. There's maybe three right now: Giannis, LeBron, and Luka, and Cade fits into that same tier. So I'd much rather have a point forward because they're so rare and they're very special talents. I remember talking to Rashad Phillips about Cade Cunningham. He told me he's a once in a generational type uh, point forward, and 100% agree with him there. I'd rather have Cade Cunningham. SGA is a phenomenal talent. I think he's one of the best young up and coming guards in the NBA. But I'm still taking Cade. I'm not going to look at it as a production standpoint.
But let's just say Cade gave us 25, 7, and 7 for like 5 to 6 years, and they were competing, were contending for the Eastern Conference Finals, whatever. I think that's fair. I don't really care about a 35 and 5 season if you don't go anywhere with it. Cool, the playoffs are great, but we'll have to see how deep SGA can take them. And again, I love SGA's game. I would be happy, if he was a Piston, if that trade actually did happen and he was here in Detroit. I wouldn't be upset about that. But since someone asked the production question, I think 25, 7, 7 is realistic for Cade. And I think he could do that over across multiple seasons and have the Pistons in contention. I think that's realistic for Cade. And I think that is worth more than SGA in the 6th pick.
Yeah, I think some fans they're box score watchers to an extent. And they're like, well, SGA is putting up 30. Cade's only putting up, like, let's say he was putting up 17 or 18. I don't remember what his exact averages were this year because he didn't play that many games. I think that's a conversation you can have, but I think what, not the casual basketball fan will do is Cade actually impacts winning. He makes winning plays. He makes everyone around him better. And I think Cade, to an extent, is actually kind of passive, where Cade could average 30, but he's going to, help Jaden Ivey maybe get 15. He's going to help Jalen Duren get his 12. He's such an unselfish type of player that I think some people have recency bias because they haven't seen him play so long, and they're like, he's not that good. I just think you just haven't seen the guy play in a very long time, and you forget how good he actually is.
Yeah, he's definitely going to turn heads next year when he comes back fully healthy. I just think we're going to have this conversation next year, and it's going to be a different conversation, not from us, but just from everybody else, that's going against Cade right now.